Hello and welcome to CICD Test. As you all know, the whole course is there for free on YouTube for you to learn and excel in software testing. But if in case you are facing any difficulties in cracking the interviews, then we have come up with a complete new approach for interview preparation. So over here, we have the interview preparation Java plus Selenium batch. This is a live batch for 2 months. The course duration is going to be for 2 months. This is going to give you a complete boost in your confidence, as confidence is simply a byproduct of the knowledge that you have. Now to support this, we have our mock interviews from industry experts. We have a pool of manual and automation testing experts from the industry, and we will all come to cater you the best ever experience of a mock interview session. We are also going to provide you a detailed report of this interview session, wherein you will be able to identify what are the areas that you have to focus and what are your strong areas, so that you can lead your interview in the same direction as per your knowledge. The number of interviews that we are going to cover in this mock interviews package for 3000 only is 2. So we are going to conduct 2 mock interviews, one mock interview to understand where you stand today, and the second interview will be conducted once you are ready with all the gaps covered as advised as a review of your first interview. Nevertheless, keep watching and learning for free. Happy learning, all the best.
Now guys, let's move on to our different class, which is what? Which is web element repository. So once see guys, we will slowly move on to our framework strategies, and this is a part of it. Okay, so be careful, just carefully look at what we are doing, because later it will be difficult for you. If I'll write the whole code in just one go, it will be difficult for you to understand. So I'm trying to take you like a story. Okay, so now web driver equals new Chrome driver. Okay, now I am going to add all the imports by Control-Shift-O. Okay, now all the imports are here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go and driver.get, and the URL I'm going to pick over here is, guys, this one. Okay, so this URL I am also giving it to you in the chat box, so that you just save this URL. Okay, and you are going to have your complete exercise on this URL, this particular exercise that I'm going to show you over here, so that it is, you are also able to simply use the same URL for your practice. Okay, now if I just simply run this, let me see if this URL is getting open or not. Okay, so this is Orange HRM site, guys, and a lot of things we are going to learn from this site. Okay, it has an open network for us. Now guys, this particular thing, driver.get this particular URL is giving me some web elements. And what are web elements? First of all, what are web elements? Okay, so if I just simply right click and click on inspect over here, or what I can do is I can simply do Control plus Shift plus I. Okay, so this dev tools console will get open. Okay, you can sort it like the way you want it, the dock size the way you want it. You want it at the right pane. Okay, so you can do like this. You want it at the left pane, you can do like this. You want it at the bottom of your screen, you can do like this. Or you want it to completely detach from the screen and come it like this, then that's also what you can do very simply. Okay, so I'm keeping it right here. Okay, so this is my, okay, let me keep it at the right. Okay, so this is my complete web page. Okay, now what are web elements? So here is your arrow. Okay, if you will see, every time whenever you open your dev tools, you will see one small arrow and a screen over here. Okay, so the moment you will click on the screen and arrow and you mouse over on the whole website, you will see things getting highlighted. Okay, so everything that is getting highlighted over here is a web element, guys. Okay, everything. This text is a web element, this icon is a web element. Okay, this orange HRM image, the logo image is a web element. This also, the the accessibility feature and the language feature, This also is a web element. This your hamburger icon is also a web element. This your cookie settings and whatever you are getting at the footer as a footer, everything. This also, this each and every single logo is a web element. And then this whole pane is also a web element, this whole carousel. Okay. And then every text is a different web element, and they are also grouped. Okay, so these are individual web elements, and also they are grouped in a way that, see, it they are also grouped in this way. Okay, so this whole group is another web element. So basically, everything and anything that we see on a web page are web elements. Okay, so one thing is for sure, that whenever you are trying to get some web element, it is going to be quite difficult for you, you know if you have the right strategy to identify one single web element which is you know present on the DOM. What's DOM? This is your DOM. See, this is document, HTML. Okay, so what how exactly we are going to notify our DOM? We can say that, you know uh, let's say, what is our web element. Okay, so let me add it over here only, that anything and everything that you see on a web page is a web element. Okay, then the next thing that I wanted to write over here for your revision is, okay, to identify a web element. Okay, the address, okay, the address slash the locator of that web element has to be what? Unique. Okay, so whatever you are trying to get, okay, whatever you are trying to get, the web element you are trying to get hands on, then you have to give a unique address or a locator path for that. Okay, and how you are going to give this unique address or locator, that we are going to see. Okay, that we are going to see when you are going to learn about XPath and CSS selectors. Okay, that how we are going to do that. But still there are some locators in Java, in Selenium. Okay, so what are those locators? It will be difficult to cover them in the same session, but I'll tell you a few of them. Okay, so one thing that you have to always remember, guys, is the ID locator. Okay, ID locator is the most unique attribute of any web element. Okay, but but ID is not always available for every web element. So in these cases, we will use what? XPath or CSS selectors strategy. Okay, so this is what we have to do. Okay, so it is not always available. Okay, guys, your ID is not always available, so you have to use, in those cases, XPath and CSS selectors to identify a web element. Okay, so what exactly happens, guys? How does the whole thing is working? Okay, so basically you have to first identify the web element. Okay, So how you are going to identify the web element for the first case? Let's say we are going to identify it by using the ID. Okay. Now, once we use the ID, we will find the, your, okay, let me first showcase you that and then we will discuss about it. Okay. So first of all, so guys, this is the first way of doing things. Okay. First way. And then later we will discuss that which one is the way that you think that you will be applying on it. Okay. On your practice. Okay. Now, if I go driver and I just write find, so see, you have two different methods with find. One is find elements and one is find element, but both are returning what? By locators. Okay. By family, by class object, they are returning. Okay, they want as the argument and they are returning a web element. Okay, so the argument over here is by locator, but what exactly they are returning? They are returning web element. See, and over here in, find elements, they are also taking the by locator as an argument, but what they are returning? They are returning the list of web element. So let us just, just take a break on, find elements, because later we are going to see how we are going to use and when we are going to use the find elements, method. Just now, for the sake of, learning purposes and not getting influenced or, having any ambiguity in mind, just ignore this one. Later we will see. Basically, guys, we are going to use this in our drop down and, fetching the links from all the links from the web page. So where you are going to keep that? You want one variable to hold all those things, right? And for one variable to hold multiple values, we use collections, right? So where there exactly we are going to use our find elements. But right now it is only find element that we have to identify. We have to identify only one web element. Okay, let's say one web element we have to identify, not a collection of web elements, just one web element. Now inside this, it is telling me to have a by locator. Okay, by dot. If I go with, ID. Now see, these are the, different methods that has been given to us by Selenium API, right? And inside this only there is, by dot ID. ID, in this ID we can give any string. Okay. Now I just told you that whatever, see, this ID is going to accept the string value. Okay. The same way the get is accepting the string value, similar way ID is also going to accept the string value. Now you have seen, guys, that, the ID locator is the most unique attribute of any web element. And if you find ID for any locator, well, good news, you are going to, interact with that particular locator quite easily. Okay. So over here in this page, I have given you this particular link because, in this page, if you go and, go and click on full name here, if you, just see it over here in this doc size. Okay. Now I am going to click on full name. Okay. So this is my full name. Let me make it a little short like this. Okay, this is my full name. Now I pick the arrow and I highlight this and I just click over here. So the moment I click over here, it is the DOM is going to highlight the same line where this exactly is existing. This input field is existing. Now see, guys, this here is an input, right? This is an input. So input is your tag. Okay, and these are all the attributes. So this type text is an attribute, and then name is an attribute, class text is an attribute. Similarly, ID is also your attribute. Okay, so this is my ID. So if I just simply copy, can I say that if I paste it over here like this, then my work is done, right? My work is done. Now, if I again use a dot operator, for this particular web element, if I use the dot operator, I am going to get the different action methods. Okay, so what all different actions I'm getting? I'm getting clear, I'm getting click, I'm getting equals, I'm getting different actions over here, right? One of those actions is send keys. Okay, and inside this I have to send anything. Okay, anything, character sequence, whatever character sequence I have to send, I can send anything. So let's say I'm saying Naveen Kumar is my first name. Okay, like this. Okay, now if I'll run this, will it print Naveen Kumar on first name? So I'm just trying to see that after running it. So I've clicked on run and it is taking me to the same site, which is Orange HRM 30-day free trial. And see the full name. Okay, once the loader is done, see it has printed Naveen Kumar. And how exactly it is picking this particular area? By ID, right? ID is always what? Unique. Okay, so always if you use ID you will always land up to the unique web element. Sometimes, okay, sometimes it is also possible that you use your ID and still you are not able to identify the exact web element. In those cases, although it rarely happens, but in a bad DOM structure it happens. I have seen in in just a couple of scenarios I might have seen this in such a long career. But some DOMs are really badly structured. So that is the reason that you might not find it. But then you will, once you learn how to identify web elements using the XPath and CSS selectors, definitely guys you will be able to identify all of them even if the ID is not unique. Okay, but for now you have to understand the ID is always unique most of the times. 99.999% of the time when the when the developer is uh, it, the developer is quite effective and the developer understands the work properly, then the structure is always maintained and ID will always be unique. Okay, but sometimes the ID is not unique, and what happens is like I I ask my developer that okay, see whatever work you are doing, you just simply give a different attribute for automation team, and that attribute can be data ID or something. Okay, and that has to be unique every time. It can be alphanumeric or whatever you want to keep it, you can keep it, but it has to be unique for every web element. So every web element is going to give us, so they will define a global variable for that. They will do whatever changes they want to do in your code, and then we are going to get a attribute, one unique attribute for every web element. But that's not the right way to do things, guys. Okay, your developers are not going to help you on this. Okay, you are you have to identify the web elements by your own self. Why you need to depend on the developers on this particular for this particular thing? Okay, developers has their own work. They are not going to adjust the DOM as per your requirement. Sometimes they do, but then that is not the healthy environment to work in, right? So what you are going to do is you are going to use your ID wherever there is ID, and if there is no interaction with ID, you are going to use and jump onto your XPath. Okay, so this is one way of doing things. Okay, similarly, if I want to get driver dot find element and again by dot ID. Okay, and in this ID I'm keeping what? I'm keeping the ID of, let's say, okay, this is full name. Okay, this is business email. Okay, so if over here I pick the ID, this is my ID, and just picking this ID, if I paste it over here like this, and then dot, okay, then dot, and I just say send keys. What send keys? Simply send keys. What, like Naveen @cicdtest.com, my mail ID. Okay, now if I run this, am I getting the right response? Just let me delete these ones because they are of no use now. Okay, now I am running this one so that we see. Okay, there is some error in the. What error is this? Okay, so I haven't closed the line using semicolon. Yeah, so now if I run this, it is going to print what? It is going to print the email ID and full name. Okay, so it has reached on to 30-day advance free trial page. And then see guys, it's going to write name automatically, which is Naveen Kumar. Till the time the loader is happening, it will not write anything. Once the loader is done, then it is going to write. Okay, so do not be, just don't be in an impression that, okay, it is taking more time on my screen, but it was not taking more time on Naveen's screen when he was teaching. No, it's not like that. Okay, it all depends on your network, how much speed your network is having and how much stable your network is. Okay, it all depends on that.